Hi everybody and welcome back to Enjoy English with Mrs. A. I'm Mrs. A and I really hope you enjoyed your Easter break. Now, today is a great day because we're going to speak about the oxymoron. The oxymoron is a contradictory, oh my god, dogs. The oxymoron is a contradictory figure of speech. That's why it's so hilarious because it's literally made up of two words with opposite meaning. Well, if you didn't understand this, then you must be clearly confused. Get it? Clearly confused? Well, this is an oxymoron. And let's break it down a bit. The word oxymoron is an oxymoron itself. Oxy comes from the Greek, which means intense, acid, or sharp. While the word moron, I think this is a word we all know and love and shouldn't use very often, comes from the Greek word, attention, Greek word that means stupid or dull, which is another synonym of boring. And for all of this, I would like to thank my Greek friend Dimitri for sharing the wisdom and clarifying this for me. Dimitri, you rock. Thank you so much. Now, there's something savagely poetic about oxymorons. And as a writer, I love integrating these intense contradictions whenever I can, as well as reading them in other novels. There's just something about the oxymoron that simply dissolves the plain and paints a very visually dynamic picture. Of course, I will strongly recommend using oxymorons as often as you can to spice up your writing and impress your teachers. And why not drop a comment with some of your faves down below. If I have to think about a recent oxymoron that I can hear everywhere or just about everywhere, everyone has imperfections, but if you got perfect imperfections, then you must be John Legend's wife. That's right, perfect imperfections from All of Me by John Legend is a perfect example of oxymoron. But that's not all. I have a whole list here and I'm going to read you this list and I'm going to try to explain the oxymoron as much as possible, so bear with me. If your mother catches you and your brother with the hand in the cookie jar, you might tell your brother, shh, act naturally. Now, when you tell somebody to act naturally, if you're acting, then by definition, that's not going to be very natural. And this is an oxymoron. Criminal justice. Cold fire. Now, this is very poetic. The cold fire of his betrayal. Almost exactly. A controlled chaos. Now, if you say, my life is chaos, it's one thing. But if you say, my life is a controlled chaos, then that has new meaning. Wait a second. Now, you may be impressed by somebody's cruel kindness, and this is something that I've read in a lot of novels, and I simply love the expression cruel kindness. Civil war. If it's a war, then how can it be civil? But there you have it. You clearly misunderstood that statement. Clearly misunderstood. Comfortable misery. If I would have to tell you my favorite oxymorons, they would probably revolve around the word silence. You probably heard or read loud silence or deafening silence or even eloquent silence. If we have silence, then obviously we cannot have noise. But this one is so popular and so frequently used, and it just sounds very rich. Just think of this. It's very romantic. Think of this, the deafening silence of his absence. It's very Twilight. I love it. A definite possibility. A deliberate mistake. A fine mess. You can wake up and say, oh, my hair is a fine mess this morning. And this one has to be one of my faves. An honest thief. It's just so funny. The more I look at these, the funnier they are. The purpose of the oxymoron is painting a very graphic, very visual picture of the person, the thing, or the feeling you are describing. You can make a plain sentence sound better, or more romantic, or even funnier if you pick the right oxymoron. If a person is in ill health, the expression ill health or poor health, it means they are sick. My aunt is in poor health, or my uncle is in ill health. This means obviously that your uncle and aunt are not very healthy. The Great Depression, the living dead, a loud whisper. Now, how can a whisper be loud? You tell me. Magical realism. This is a genre. Magical realism is a genre of a book, of a novel. So if you look for magical realism, it means, let's say, a fiction story where magic exists as a given. Your cousin Ginger got fired. Well, that's old news. When something is old news, it's simply not new information. It's something everybody knows or you already know. So the expression old news, very popular. Can I have an original copy of something? Original copy. I need to buy plastic glasses for the party. Plastic glasses? This sweater is pretty ugly. Again, pretty is an intensifier. So when something is pretty ugly, you can say, this house is pretty big or this sweater is pretty ugly. But when you put pretty and ugly together, it automatically becomes an oxymoron. They all came in random order. Her silent scream was heard by no one. Teenagers enjoy virtual reality. Virtual reality is taking over our lives. Now, virtual reality, oxymoron. Give me your unbiased opinion. We would all like to be unbiased, but as it happens, an opinion will normally lean one way or another. The Walking Dead. I'm on a working vacation. Obviously, working vacation. And here comes the most fitting oxymoron given the holidays and the pandemic and the quarantine and the lockdown and everything else. We've all been alone together. Now, when we are alone together, clearly we all understand, we all share in the misfortune and in the misery of the situation. We all know what this means. We all know that thanks to the internet, we were able to stay close to our families, to our peers, to our friends. But ultimately, we have been alone together for a long time, maybe a little too long. And I'm crossing fingers for all this to be over very soon. If you have an ice cream that is awfully good, awful and good. When something is awfully good, it's just spectacular. Henry Cavill is painfully beautiful. If you don't know Henry Cavill, do me a favor, Google him. When somebody is painfully beautiful, they are just so beautiful, it can hurt you just to look at them. Your jokes are seriously funny. Seriously funny? This smell is strangely familiar. When something is strangely familiar, it kind of rings a bell. You know it from somewhere. It reminds you of something. And I hope you enjoyed the oxymorons today. If you like this lesson, I challenge you to write something down below. Let me know your favorite oxymorons. And I know many of you are watching from Spanish-speaking countries. And I'm pretty sure you have this in your language, so educate me. I need to know how you call things in your language. I need to know examples, and let's have a bit of fun down in the comments. Thank you so much for being with me today. If you'd like to support me, find my book on Amazon, and we'll see each other next Monday with a brand new video. Bye!